against tanks if there's no vulture support here, and actually going to be able to kill all these tanks. And DL needs to regroup. His army is all over this place. This expansion is going to, this command center is still going to stay alive. Vulture's actually going to lay out this expansion here. So as much as I'm kind of being harsh on DL, he's actually doing a nice job at laying out expansions here. So Nony really down to mining at one base now. I'm expecting to see a Nexus go up all over the place here, and DL mining up off this one expansion. So we are seeing one expansion that one expansions, although DL does have the command center up, still ready to land and mine again, but it is burning, so that possibly could go down, actually. Nony going to come in here. He's going to still reinforce his army here, and Nony is still persistent on attacking. He has more Arbiters than Dragoons, almost, I swear. Not a large army for Nony, but he might be able to deal with this. Goliath finally out, and there you go. Nony's actually going to lose a couple Goliaths there, or a couple Arbiters, but he's going to stasis the Goliaths. So, man, Nony is just being harsh. Dude, you don't get a Goliath, and then when you do, I'm just going to stasis some. Nony playing very, very great here, and it's hard to, I mean, I'm not even clicking around a lot. There's been actually non-stop battles here. Nony's actually going to see this with Arbiter. We are actually going to see a recall. Oh, recall. Whoa, did he just recall Arbiters? Coming in here with these Zealots and Dragoons, actually going to disrupt mining quite a bit. He doesn't have an army. His army is caught off guard. He's going to have to send Vultures, but Vultures are not going to be enough against Goons. He's going to lose quite a few SCV kills here. So, really, oh, Storm drop. Oh, my gosh, Storm's going off. That wasn't a Storm drop, excuse me. That was a recall. But Storm's going to come over here and going to kill a lot of SCV. So, now Nony, or now DL is not mining here. Obviously, Terran army is so good. Let's take a little bit about the side count here. Nony is at 75 out of 179, and DL is at 84. So this is not a great situation for either player, really. And 23 minerals here for DL, and DL is not mining. He actually still is mining from this expansion. I'm expecting another recall from Nony. Nony knows if he can lay that out, that his opponent he doesn't have any minerals. Nony actually is banking. No, Nony's not banking at all either. So he's still mining, scrapping up the few minerals that are at this expansion. Now he's going to take the bottom right expansion here. So Nony, I mean, just completely trying to play, this isn't even macro. This is like scraping for nexuses and command centers and just trying to gain minerals. Now he is mining from this expansion here. That a better recall actually could have been devastating to this expansion, but because of the lack of the army, it was only a couple Zealots and a Dragoons, but it did get a couple SCVs kills down. It did slow down mining, but DL is actually mining from quite a few minerals here, while Nony's not going to be mining in the middle a little bit, but he has bought it right expansion warping in here, and DL knows about it, but there's nothing he can deal with it. EMP is going to become a part of this game. EMP going to... Ooh, that actually hurts those Arbiters. Now we are seeing it. Nice Science Vessel play here by DL, but not great Goliath play. I'm going to say it over and over again, and he's finally starting to do it. He's a learner. He's a quick learner. He needs more Goliaths, and he's a couple, but I know he can't even produce right now. Both players mining off one base right now. Not a situation that either player wants to be in. Definitely crazy game, epic game to say the least. It's going to come down to recalls. Recalls are very, very strong in a position like this because they just are. I mean, the Terran army is so small and it only can be at so many places at one time. So this expansion right here is one that I feel Nony needs to deal with if he wants to win the game. DL in a macro lead right now, but Nony is mining from this expansion right here. So Nony's going to try to bunker up here. His army is basically outside his opponent's base, trying to hold this expansion. Kind of an odd place for an expansion, but he just really had a probe right there. He's like, I got to build a Nexus. I'm almost done mining. I mean, as you can see, he's basically done mining here. So basically, both players almost mining off one basis, though. Although Nony will have the macro, not really the macro lead. It's hard to say who has the macro lead. It's basically going to come down to micro and unit control, to say the least. Every unit matters in a situation like this, and my voice is literally killing me. This is my third game commentating, actually my fourth game, because I commentated a game that the replay was broken, so probes were sitting everywhere, and I realized I wasn't going to do much. Archons, High Templars warping into Archons here. This is not a common PvT game. Very epic PvT game to really say the least here. He's going to try to set up a missile turret here, knowing that he can't make too many Goliaths. His army is very scattered here, storming everything. A storm on one tank is actually very useful on this. And if my voice gets a little soft here, I'm sorry. I'm really dying here. I need a drink. And all I have here is a coffee. Anyways, but yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know why what am I talking about? This still has like 20 more minutes here. It's going to come down to recalls, though. I feel recalls. Nony does have a superior army here. We are actually going to see Nony finally attack. It's been kind of a stall game. Both players trying to get expansions everywhere. Storming everywhere, though. And Nony's got to be careful. He doesn't want to lose too many. It does have observers out. It does have a pretty good-sized army. We are going to see now DL take this, what position? The 9 at 10 o'clock position here and try to hold this. And it's going to come down to who can scrape up minerals. And no one is banking. This is ridiculous. This is a game you don't see very common. This is a game where it actually could come down to who could destroy your opponent's army faster, who can destroy your opponent's base faster, excuse me. High Templar Storm, he's got to be careful with these High Templars. Vulture's going to try to come in and pick him off, I feel. And, oh my gosh, he storms one Vulture. I mean, he knows that every unit is so important here. And I'm surprised he hasn't tried to take out this expansion again. I'm expecting a recall, but Nony is really just trying to bank off these. He knows that if he can play off 2 bases, his opponent's only off 1, but now he's done mining with this expansion. He's actually going to give up that ramp, and he's actually going to have to transfer probes. He's not going to have enough, and Nony's actually going to be not mining now. And I'm surprised he gave up that Nexus without a fight. He knows that it's going to come down to every little unit, and he's actually going to give up his Nexus right there. He's going to lose this expansion, and this expansion is down to its last little patch of minerals here. So Nony not in a great situation here, but Nony now is taking up this 12 o'clock expansion, but this expansion has been spotted by the SCV. Nice job by DL there, but I don't know if Nony's really just going to give that up. He knows that it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to hold an expansion when you're right outside your opponent's base. And oh my gosh, the command center lands and starts making SCVs before the Nexus even falls. He doesn't even care if it's off center. He knows that every mineral is going to be huge. And Nony's going to come over here and just camp over this. He knows this is the heart of his possibly having a chance at winning this game. Both players are mining here. So really Nony down to 1 base mining now, and DL has mining from 1 and 2. So DL in a pretty good situation right now. Terran obviously the lowest econ requirements army in the game. They can live off such limited bases for so long. That's really going to help. That's really going to swift over to DL's favor. But DL in a macro lead, I guess you could say, but definitely not with the really. Dang, he still has a nice army here. Probes Transfig is going to try to mine from this, but really, Nony with quite an army here. Again, I don't know why he's not recalling. I feel right now Nony needs to be doing a better job of scouting. He could easily go lay out this expansion, and there's nothing he would be able to do about it. And I think that's actually where he's going right now, and that's exactly where he's going. Or no, oh my gosh, Nony, these arbiters need oh man, not going to be able to lay out, not going to see the expansion lay it out. And this is when scouting comes into a huge play. Generally, scouting is obviously a big part of the game early on in the game, but when you can try to scout expansions like this, basically players right now are expanding everywhere. And this is actually a game we could see every mineral mined out, and this is now DL's kind of switching over his attack here. He's going to actually go to the left side, and DL's just realizing if he can keep these 2 expansions. But right now, this expansion is so susceptible to attack. And this, oh my gosh, this probe is going to expand here again. So we are going to see the Nexus at the natural and the command center at the main base here. And Nony, I'm surprised he hasn't scouted that. A player like Nony, I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. A Vulture's going to come in here. Probe harassment would absolutely be devastating. Right now, Nony does not want to spend a single dime on probes. You generally cut probe production at about 120, 115. And so right now, probe kills would be huge. I mean, he's using every probe possible. He's going to come in here, completely surround these Vultures, and all these Vultures are going to go down pretty carelessly by DL and pretty impressively by Nony. And Nony, yes, scouting probe has seen it. Nony's going to go lay out this expansion. DL's actually going to be in a lot of trouble here. DL might actually have to try to go for a counter here and lay out this expansion. This base he is mining from is actually getting pretty limited, and he's going to lose all this. Arbiter's going to come in here and try to own this command center, but he's going to lose this expansion, and this is really not looking good for DL. I mean, this is flip-flop, flip-flop, but DL's going to come for a counter here. DL's going to try to slow push his way to victory, and this really could come down to who could kill the buildings. Every unit matters. A single zealot, a single probe matters. I actually did a commentary for, this reminds me of it, replay of the week for Ghostly Gamers. I did an old one. Lord Weird told me to do it or whatever, or I asked him or whatever. So I did it, and it was on Andromeda. It was a PvT, and it came down to arbiters, 2 arbiters and 1 archon. That was the army remains. I mean, really, and there was nothing he could do about it. He had ghosts. The ghosts were literally running around shooting stuff. I mean, it was the weirdest game I've ever seen. But it came down to, I'm just saying how small of an army it can actually come down to. And Nony was still a nice size